Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday night fantasy cheat sheet. Why am I so pumped? Because we had the first week of the NFL season. Before we get to talk about week one and get ready for week two, it's time to drop the intro, boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is up? What is up, everyone? It is Tuesday night. It's time for the fantasy cheat sheet. Let's just get right into the cast and the crew. Jamie, Jordan, and Reggie, what is going on tonight, boys?
Week one in the books. It's time to start to react.
Same, man. I'm doing a little preparing for this hurricane coming my way, but I had to take some time to talk about week one and look ahead to week two.
Unleash the beast called the NFL season. Let's get it, baby.
All right, so I got a couple things to bring up. First off, Jordan, stay safe in the fam bam. Jamie, you're just crazy when it comes to random stuff for football. And Reggie, I got something to bring up that you brought up to me today. Waiver wire, it is a pain in the ass when you got 20 to 30 leagues.
Yes.
I'm already going, holy Jesus. I tonight, and quick story before we get into the show. I told two people at work, never played fantasy football in their life. Hey, I'll be on my lunch real quick if you want to come, blah, 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 but I'm doing my waivers. Just come in and talk to me real quick. I ended up spending half of my lunch break helping their goddamn fantasy teams instead of working on my fantasy team. All right. We got the regular season format. We got the news on Monday Night Football in section 1. Segment 2 is going to be Jordan's baby that he came up with last year, real or fake. We have the host section, and then to tie it all up, we got waiver wires for the cheat of the week. Let's get into the news, guys. Let's start off. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm just going to rip it off because it needs to be ripped off. It's one of the biggest ones we've had this season so far. Jordan, I'm sorry. I'm doing it. Jordan Love hurt on the, second to last play of the game. 3 to 6 weeks, MCL sprain. Jordan, I'm just going to throw it to you first. I'm just going to give you the open floor. It's your team.
So there is some positive with it. They never placed him immediately on IR, which means they have hope that he won't, be out for 4 games. So we're hoping for the 3-week window. Obviously, this is devastating for the team in the interim. Malik Willis is going to be the quarterback, so they're going to go with him this week, see what he has. Obviously, they made a trade for him, so they believe somewhat in his skill set. I know a lot of people have been saying they need to go after Tannehill. I think that may be a discussion depending on how bad Willis looks or doesn't look this week. But, I think, for the next few weeks, if it is going to be Willis, you got to downgrade the receivers all across the board, just the offense as a whole. I would like to believe this helps Josh Jacobs, but anytime your quarterback isn't a threat to throw it, I think it hurts the run game. So I'm not going to go over the top with Josh Jacobs' love here, but overall it's just a blow, man. And we were, he looked decent. He didn't play his best, but the offense still scored 29 points, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So you could see the potential that the offense had. They started getting the run game going in the second half, so it's hard to see. But like I said, moving forward for this offense, I'm going to be scared to play any of the receivers, and you got to downgrade Josh Jacobs a little bit as well.
All right, speaking of the receivers, Jamie, you messaged me. You wanted to bring something specific up, so I saved it for you. What do you think about Jaden Reed specifically?
Reed, I mean, he was hard to start this week. I saw 68% of the fantasy community actually sat him. So 68% are sitting home with a healthy Jordan Love. I don't see how you're going to be able to fit him in your lineup with Malik Willis throwing him the ball. But, I mean, there are some positives. If you need to play him, they did use him in some gadgety type of ways. I still think he's going to be able to get some fancy points, but more of like a flex player, not like a wide receiver 2 or 3 like we were drafting him as.
All right, I'll take this one real quick, Reggie. I disagree with you about Jaden. I think you absolutely can start him. I don't even think I think he's going to get the manufactured touches. I think they're going to use him more like Debo now. Not saying he's Debo. I'm just saying in the manufactured gadgety role. I mean, we'll get to Debo later, but in that sense, I do think he's the one. I don't know what this means for Josh Jacobs, like you said, Jordan, but 100% agree with you, Jamie. But I get what you're saying about Jaden Reed, but like Christian Watson, I ain't touching. Musgrave, I ain't not touching all those guys. For the next piece of news, I'll let you start this one, Reggie. We'll go to the other big one of the week. Puka Nacua is on the IR, minimum of 4 weeks. What does this do for the Rams offense in general? And do you think he's going to actually miss 4, or do you think it's going to be more?
I really think that this was like a precursor to this. We kind of got a taste of this last year in the reverse for Cooper Kupp, coming up a little wobbled and then sitting out after right before the season started, or game 1. So the roles are reversed. I think he will still be a factor when he does come back. But this was something that they tried to avoid in the beginning, and I think we all kind of knew once they got closer to the season starting that this was a possibility. So I'm not surprised that he wasn't 100%, and I think this is just a re-aggravation of the same injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yep. It's the re-aggravation of the injury from the preseason. Jamie, Cooper Kupp tied his record 4 catches in a game with 14. Is it going to continue without Puka? Is it going to take a tiny bit step? Like, what do you think this does for Cooper?
Well, Cooper, I think his role is going to stay the same. He can see 10, 12, 15 targets a week. Like we even thought on this show, it was worth passing over Puka and then get the number 1 guy in Kupp like 2-3 rounds later.
100%. Jordan, do you have any quick thoughts?
No, I think like the guy said it. I mean, he's gonna have his steady volume, and then the rest of it will kind of be dispersed between different guys. We won't know who that other guy will be. It'll be different guys, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But Cooper Kupp, he's gonna be 21 targets last week. I could see 15. So this week, obviously, it depends on game script.
Yeah. So. Another one that I just want to bring up, and I'm going to throw it to you, Jamie, first on purpose. David Njoku is week to week with a high ankle sprain. What does this do for Njoku for the rest of the year? Let's not talk about the Browns as a whole because I will get to that later.
Yeah, Njoku, I feel bad for people that drafted him. I got him in a couple leagues. I mean, we weren't expecting the season he had last year with the quarterback situation, but it does hurt the Browns as a whole. I don't even know who their second tight end is. Like we got rid of Harrison Bryant.
Yep.
So Jordan Akins.
Yep. Oh, dude, wasn't he like Deshaun's top tight end?
Yeah. I think I did see him play. His name got called a lot.
3 passes after Njoku went out. So
still, it's not a good situation for the Browns as a whole.
Okay, speaking of tight ends, we will go with the bottom row real quick. We'll go Jordan real quick, and then Reggie talk about this one. What does Jake Ferguson getting a bone bruise and a minor sprained left knee, possibly week to week? Jordan, just like the tight end landscape, what do you think overall about this injury?
I think that they're not ruling him out immediately. He's gonna try to play through it, but that's unlikely he'll play this week. I think it hurts because you got Njoku out, you got Ferguson out now. tight end was already thin, and then the top guys didn't play well. Not to say I anticipate that continuing, but it's then even some of the streaming guys didn't play well either. So it's rough right now, man. Like it's rough. So you may have to rely on a Taysom Hill to try to score a rushing touchdown or something like that at tight end, or Jawan Johnson or somebody like that moving forward. But if Ferguson's out, I think that helps Brandon Cooks. In the passing game, I think Schoonmaker is going to be the next in line, but I don't know how much you can trust him. I don't think he just slots automatically into the workload that Ferguson would get. So I think it helps Cooks more than anybody on that team. But yeah, tight end is rough, man. It's just getting rougher by the week, it feels.
Rougher and rougher. All right, let's pivot over to wide receiver. Reggie, what do you think about Roma
I'm in
Dunze?
on
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Ferguson.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. I'm a firm believer that the Dallas Cowboys tight end is relevant. I think Ferguson, I have said this before, is just a guy, a good guy with a great role. And I've been beating the drum for Luke Spoonmaker because he has more draft capital, drafted in athleticism way higher than Ferguson. And right before the season started, there was rumors that Penderhouse, the other tight end that was on the move and was trying to be traded. And why would Dallas do that if they did not?
He's a Chief now.
Yeah, he was traded. Okay. So when I seen that, and I've been beating the drum for Spoonmaker to get a chance, and I hopefully this is not really able to be trusted right now, but once Spoonmaker gets that job, Ferguson will never get it back. It'll be Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick situation.
I like that.
All right. Can someone clip that in the back, because that's ballsy.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go Reggie, then Jamie, real quick on this one. Roma Dunze, week to week with this MCL sprain. Am I right? Yes, MCL sprain on his left knee. Thank you for putting it on the show sheet, Jamie. What does this do for? I'll go to you on this one, Reggie, because you're a dynasty guy like Jamie. What does this do for the dynasty outlook of Rome? Does it do anything?
Well, I don't think he's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be out or what did the MRI display the degree of this sprain.
Yeah,
but I look at
this moment.
Yeah, I look at him as a dog, and it's going to be hard to keep him off the field and protect him from himself. With that being said, he won't be 100%, but they kind of gotta, from watching the game, attack and approach this with the training wheels on. They were able to come away with a W, but this ain't gonna be NASCAR just to start off. Taylor Williams is still a rookie quarterback, and they can suffice. But I think they need a Dunze because Keenan Allen came up hobbled as well. It did not look like the nostalgic Cal Bear that I remember him as from the eye test.
Jamie, me and you, these guys are too, but me and you are degenerates. How many panicked owners do you think are out there going, I'm going to sell them? Because I've already seen it.
I haven't seen it. If you do find a panicked owner, buy him cheap, because a bone. What is it? His knee.
It's an MCL sprain.
MCL sprain. All right, so his talent is still going to be there. It's not like his talent just disappeared with an MCL sprain. Like he's going to come back healthy. He's young. I'm not worried about him at all. While he's out, I do see them doing more like 2 tight end sets with Everett and Komet.
Everett and Komet.
Yeah, and then maybe Tyler Scott, someone I was excited about last year. Maybe he gets a little bit more play. But long term, no, I'm not worried at all. I'll buy him.
All right. So there's one more piece of news that I was going to bring up, but I am pivoting and I will bring it up later before someone's segment. I'll just leave it at that. Let's get into last night, boys. Last year we had it where each person had a takeaway. This year we're just going to talk round table about this game for a few minutes. Jets and 49ers last night. Niners won the game 32-19. But before we throw it around the horn, the biggest red flag, the biggest thing we got to bring up at first, CMC did not play, and Jordan Mason goes out, kills it, does good, won me a league. Jake Moody almost lost me a league, kicking it for 25 points in fantasy. Then Jordan Mason came out after the game in his press call or in his on-field interview and said that he knew he was starting on Friday night. So there's chances that the team will be investigated. We'll leave that at that. Throw it around the table. Take away what you thought about the game. Jamie, give us a takeaway from this game.
Man, the Jets aren't as good as I thought there are. Aaron Rodgers started slow. He had like 170 yards. He had 1 touchdown, 1 pick. I don't understand why they couldn't. He hasn't played in over exactly a year. Why wouldn't they put him in the preseason to get him more reps? Because they wanted to keep him healthy. That doesn't make sense.
Precursor to later in the show, people.
My takeaway is Rodgers isn't. He's probably going to start slow. He might not even pick up. So I drafted him for the first time in 15 years this year, and I'm already regretting it.
That's your fault for not doing it earlier.
Yeah.
Gordon, take it away.
There were so many other opportunities to but no, kind of similar to what Jamie was saying. Like the Jets, they just are going to need time. The whole offense to me looked like they don't trust Rodgers yet. There were a lot of handoffs, even though they were down by multiple scores at one point. A lot of short, quick passes with guys besides Garrett Wilson who can't really get open. And for a while, Rodgers' passes only went to Breece Hall, Lazard, Breece Hall and Wilson for like a large portion of the game. So obviously he knows where he needs to. I like that as a Garrett Wilson owner and a Breece Hall owner, but it just didn't look right. And obviously the biggest question mark with the Jets to me is the coaching staff. A bunch of guys who haven't been doing anything in their own separate roles. So, I think they're going to be a lot better than obviously week one. A lot of teams were sorry this week. That'll be better. They'll be better. But I think a lot of people who were pumping the Super Bowl hype can kind of temper that down a little bit. But I do think they'll be much better than what we saw last night.
All right. So, Reggie, these two talked about the Jets like it needed to be talked about. I'm glad somebody is finally saying stuff that we've been saying for a couple years. I want to ask you about the 49ers. You're up there, so you hear stuff too. But Brandon Ayuk goes and gets the contract. But Debo was the guy last night. That was partially because, they used him in the game with CMC being out. I have a weird feeling now, just the way they were using him in general, even before. I mean, CMC was out the whole game, but just the way they used him in general. There's rumors that CMC might be out week 2. Don't know exactly what's going on. It's Achilles tendonitis and all that stuff. I was born with a bad Achilles, so I know this possibly could keep going a little bit, like maybe they reduce his workload or whatever. Am I wrong for thinking that this could actually be a Debo year and not an Ayuk year?
Well, we all know this offense is prolific. Like they force their will, and it seems like whoever you put behind the ball, behind that scheme, you're going to get production out of them. So just last night, you was able to see a Jordan Mason have an incredible game, and they kind of got behind that. Not to take anything away from the rest of the team, that defense, they set the tone, and this is what we become accustomed to being treated to from in the fantasy land, because it seems no matter who's back there in that running game, if they have to split the load, everybody is a threat, and it's just going to keep happening. On the Aaron Rodgers things, let's not forget that he hasn't played in a year. Let's not forget when he played the year he did play, he did not look good. I think this will get better because he's not Zach Wilson. Right. And it's just that the team has to gel together, and that O-line is on the older side. And they have some older additions. But the Niners just go do Niner things. Bang, bang, Niner gang. For real. One thing I haven't talked about family, that's anybody that's watching, don't call me during the game. I might be working on something. I didn't get to watch much of it. And during the game, sleeper, I don't like you. I try to get ahead of setting my waiver wires just like my man here and do work on my team. And I went through all of them, just an extra step, a day early. This morning, I had put Puka Nacua on the IR because I was able to last night. None of my changes saved to a big sleeper. Sorry.
All right, so I'm going to give my take in a little bit different way. And it has to do with the Niners being jackasses. Yes, I said it. Because I was in one league that I could not even replace CMC because it's a fab league. Jamie knows this because I messaged him very upset. I couldn't replace him. I was up. CMC was going to play, and I was going to, and it's an Empire League where the first person to win 2 times wins a pot, and I'm one of the 4 people that have won. So I was waiting to win this game, get on the freaking good start, and I was going against a Niner fan, and it was even going to be any better. Then I couldn't start anyone, and I went projected 78% projected to win, and as soon as they put McCaffrey at 0, it went down to 21. Because the guy had one ID, it's some IDP. He happened to have Jalen John, the lineman, Jermaine Johnson from the Jets, some random linebacker from the San Francisco 49ers that wears number 54. Yes, freaking Fred Warner. And then he had Brandon freaking Ayuk. And I had nobody. I was done. Thank you, Brandon Ayuk. I won by 0.9. Thank you, Brandon Ayuk. I won by 0.9. Anything can happen. Miracles can happen. But Niners, please, next time, please tell us before 2 hours before kickoff that your star number 1 overall running back is not playing in the game. I'm sorry. I'm still frustrated. All right. It is time for the next segment. We're going to get into it. We're going to shoot around the horn, so we're not taking too long on each one. But, Jordan, you know what time it is?
I know what time
You ready for it? You ready?
I'm ready.
Reggie hasn't heard this yet. It's time for Real or Fake. Let's get it, Jamie. Jamie, who is your real of the week? And I'm just gonna set you up. I've been saying this since June, baby. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, we've been all over this player, taking him at a value. It's Mr. Joe Mixon, running back on the Texans. He had over 26 fantasy points. He was the RB2 on the week. Like, he dominated. He was the clear lead back. I believe he had like 72% of the snaps, 30 carries, 159 yards, and a touchdown. Plus, he caught 3 of his 3 targets. Like, people were fading Mixon in drafts. I would give my recommendation saying Mixon. They're like, oh, no. What's that saying? There's too many mouths to feed in that offense. But that didn't make sense because he's the only running back in that backfield worth drafting. So I think he's expected to maintain this high volume. He's on the top offense in the league. Dameon Pierce only got 3 carries behind him with Mixon's 30 carries. So I'm not expecting him to be RB2 every week, but he's definitely in consideration, and he'll be a top 10 weekly starter consistently all year.
All right, Jamie. I actually want to give you a giant hug right now because this is the perfect player, in my opinion, to start this segment off. When Jordan made this segment, I think this is like the perfect player because he's so polarizing. You either hate him or love him. There was years that I was off on him. You and Jordan both know this. Me and Jordan both were. I am actually totally in on him. Yes, you brought up the Dameon Pierce factor that he only had a few carries. To me, the bigger fact on the Dameon Pierce only having a few carries and the fact that Joe Mixon is a goddamn stud is that they decided to make Cam Akers a healthy damn scratch. They didn't even play him. So you knew you were going to give as soon as you gave that much workload to Joe Mixon, in a game where they had 74 offensive snaps. Nobody averaged over 70 snaps last year as a team, and they had 74 as a team, and you gave him that many opportunities, that and down in the goal, down where they needed money plays. Absolutely love this play. Jordan, what do you think about Joe Mixon?
Y'all know already how I feel about Mixon. I don't really have much more to add. Like he got the opportunities. He made the most of those opportunities. Don't expect RB2 finish every week, but definitely top 10 for sure.
Do you think he finishes at the end of the year? What's his ceiling at this point, do you think?
So I was actually debating somebody about this like earlier in the week about Mixon because they were down on him. I think his best finish points per game wise, I think was like 15.9 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Or 16. I think he can be at about 18 ish points per game, I think.
All right, Jamie. From the good of that game to your fake play, which is also in the same game this week. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's all the Colts wide receivers, the way they were being used. I don't see it continuing that way. I know Pierce, Alec Pierce, he had the 83% of the snaps, but he only had 3 targets and he caught a touchdown, so that made him a top 10 wide receiver this week. I don't see him being an every week starter with just getting 3 targets. Then you have my man that I've been waiting 6 freaking years for a breakout, Ashton Doolin, baby. He was the most efficient wide receiver this week. He caught 1 target, 1 catch, 1 touchdown. I mean, that's just who that guy is. Like I don't think he ever had a season with over 22 total catches. He didn't even play all last year, so don't overreact. I know he was like wide receiver. He was in the top 25. Yeah. So don't overreact on that. He won't get over 20 targets in the whole year. Then you had Pittman. Pittman was a big sit for me this week. He was going against Stingley, so I kind of had a feeling he wasn't going to be heavily used, but he did have 8 targets, which is good. He only caught 4 of them for 31 yards. Like I told everyone just to sit him. Stingley usually only lets people catch, I think it was like 2.1 receptions per game. Pittman doubled that. So I expect big things for Pittman going forward. We draft him as a wide receiver 2. He's going to be that wide receiver 2. Then A.D. Mitchell, man, he's a rookie. His first year. He did get 5 targets, which is nice. I don't remember how many he caught. Was it 1 or 2? But he did play 64% of the snaps. I see that going up the more the games that they play. So don't panic on Pittman. Don't panic on A.D. Mitchell if you drafted him in Dynasty. Don't go out and blow your fab on Alex Pierce or Ashton Doolin.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was running to go pick up Ashton Doolin.
Oh, yeah.
At all. I don't think so. But I think you're right on the way that they were all used. I think that changes, especially Josh Downs is going to be coming back eventually. That's going to shake up the rotation and the way some of those guys are used altogether. Adnan Mitchell had opportunities, but getting targets from Anthony Richardson is a wide range of variance in those targets. Could be a perfect 65-yard bomb, or it could be way over your head. So all targets aren't created equal. But I do think Pittman is going to be the guy. He's going to be targeted. He's going to be more productive moving forward. Mitchell is a big play guy. And then when Josh Downs come back, he's going to be like that other kind of guy to use out of the slot possession guy type of guy. So I like the passing game. I think it's going to continue to get better with Richardson. And I don't leave Alec Pierce, leave Ashton Doolin, leave those guys alone. Don't mess with a tight end. You don't know who it'll be. Just focus on the top 3 wide receivers.
Reggie.
I think that Alex Pierce had a lot of air yards last year, so he had a lot of practice. I can't call these Colts wide receivers. I can't call him fake because he's proved that he has some kind of connection. I think Anthony Richardson is the Tyreek Hill of quarterbacks. It's all or nothing, baby. Like the plays, he only had 9 completions, I think, and he was able to get it done. Like he leaned on his strengths to get the results that he wanted, and they're just going to repeat that. They're only going to get stronger with Josh Downs, who I think will have more of a chemistry in it with Anthony Richardson's skill set. And once Michael Pittman gets the timing down, especially in the RPO game, I don't think that his production last year was fake with someone like Gardner Minshew. He just may have to win in other ways, and he has to get to the end zone.
Not disagreeing. All I want to tell you about the only thing I need to comment about this, and it's just about what you said. It's not even about the wide receivers. Only on this show, only bring up AR-15 in good ways, sir. That is how we do it on this show. All right. Jordan, your real player is a player that has been discussed on the show for 2 or 3 years in good and in bad. You're right on this one for this week. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Chris Godwin, he kind of just confirmed what I had been thinking he would do this season. Obviously, he had a rough season last year, but, new staff, they started using him in the slot a lot more. First game against a porous defense. Jamie called it last week that Baker would have a field day, which he did. And Godwin was the biggest beneficiary. I know Mike Evans had got banged up briefly, so he kind of missed some plays. But, Godwin led the team in targets, caught all 8 of his targets, 80-something yards. So not a lot of, not deep throws or anything like that. But, 8 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown. Good production. I mean, you didn't draft him to score 20 points. I don't think he's going to score you 24 points every week, but a solid, 12 to 16 PPR points is what he'll give you. And I think he started off on a good foot this week.
Reggie, what do you think about Chris Godwin this week and for the future?
We have short memories, and Chris Godwin started doing this towards the end of last year and coming back off the injury to the previous year. And there's a caveat or addition to this team that people aren't realizing that Baker Mayfield is a monster. He's an egomaniac, absolute monster when he has the confidence. This is the first time we're seeing him reap the benefits of what we thought Baker Mayfield was coming out of college. Just being able to make plays. And Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, I didn't even see this game. From just reading the stat lines, I was able to visualize the kind of game that Baker Mayfield has, and it is definitely real. And these wide receivers is going to show us that.
And before I throw it to Jamie, let's not forget he had 2 touchdowns that were called back for flags. Jamie, what do you think about? I know you're all in on Evans. What do you think about Godwin?
I love Godwin, especially at his ADP. He was going way too late for the kind of player that he is. I expect another huge game from him coming up this week. The Lions, you could kill the Lions in the slot. I could see another 15, 20-point game from him this week. But after that, Jordan, you're right. He'll definitely get you that 12 to 16-point consistency every single week, just playing in a slot.
All right, Jordan. Your fake player. I got to preface by saying this. I got to say something. You are going to get kicked out of the state of Louisiana.
It's just everybody's running around kissing Derek Carr right now where I'm from. But the Saints had a ridiculous game, man. 47 points they put up. They played against a Panther team that a couple of guys I know said would have a really good offense or a decent offense to start the year off. I don't remember who those guys were, but we're gonna focus on the Saints right now. But Derek Carr, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's not a big touchdown guy, never has been. I think the most he's ever thrown in a year is 26 or something like that. So now on pace for 51. Or not 51, but 51. 51. I don't think that's obviously sustainable. The Panthers were just a mess. They took advantage of it. Rashid Shaheed early. when you only throw, he didn't have to throw the ball a lot. He only threw for 200 yards, and the efficiency that he had was ridiculous, not sustainable. They played Dallas this week, a real defense. So we'll see what he does this week. But yeah, I wouldn't get too hyped up on Derek Carr because he's, eventually it levels off, and he's going to show you that he can throw for 300 yards in a game, but it may be with one touchdown. That's not going to help you very much for fantasy because he's just never been that huge touchdown guy. Now, it's a new offense, but he's been in several different offenses, and he's just never been able to throw a bunch of touchdowns for whatever reason.
Jamie?
I mean, there's not much else to say. Derek Carr, man, who is really interested in starting Derek Carr getting 200 yards? If he doesn't get those touchdowns, like he was bailed out by his tight ends. Where was Olave? Why can't you get Olave involved? If you're not going to get Olave involved, I have no interest in Derek Carr at all. So yeah, definitely a fake performance. Think about it. If he had 200 yards, one touchdown, he'd be quarterback 30.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, no, don't trust Derek Carr.
All right, so this is my guide to talk about. And I got mixed emotions, full-heartedly mixed emotions. One, because, yes, Jordan was talking about me when it came to Carolina. Two,
I was talking about Jamie too.
I know.
And Reggie, actually. All y'all.
All I'm going to say about this, the main thing is this. You guys are right about Derek Carr, and it pisses me off because I'm starting to wonder if Olave will ever be anything as long as Derek Carr is this quarterback. But the person that he threw it to, the person that he threw the long pass, Mr. Rashid Shaheed, is on my Scott Fishbowl lineup in the starting lineup. Unfortunately, my third quarterback, who was not my starter this week, is the one and only Derek Carr. So obviously, I'm not going to start Derek Carr. However, I got to bring this up real quick. And this is part of the reason I put my name on the list. Lamar got me 31.16 in SFB. Great. Derek Carr scored 24.3 in SFB. My quarterback, too, was Kyler Murray. He scored me 17.69. So I should have played Derek Carr. I would have got 7 more points. Before I throw it to Reggie's reel, the last thing I want to say about Scott Fishbowl, who's number 70 in the lineup right now? Me! I'm 70 overall, baby. Let's go.
Jamie,
last year I started at 2,000.
Jamie, to your Saints, you guys, the defense is great, and the strength of schedule that the defense faces, and Derek Carr may be fake for fantasy, but with that the kick return game with Rashid Shaheed, y'all have A.T. Prairie, there's weapons, Taysom Hill, they can be scary as a team for the NFL wise, I think. So
Reggie, who is your reel?
Oh, well, this ain't no. I know I was gonna put this down. I've been saying this. This is one of my bold takes. He ended up with the job. He looked at good Sam the Man Darnold. I know it's near and dear to your heart because you go be it's real too. He went out there. He did his thing. He is playing for the rest of his career. He has no one necessarily looking over his shoulder, and he has some weapons. And he gonna show you what they go do. I don't think he's gonna turn into a pumpkin at midnight. I think he's going to continue to do his best, and he's going to earn a starting job somewhere else next year.
All right. So, yes, your take was the fact that he's going to have a great year. He's going to end up bold take. Going to go, what do you call it? I'm giving you something because you're right so far. I'm still interested to see what happens, but like we've joked around before, I was the one circling the bandwagons when he did 3 good weeks in freaking Carolina. So I'm on pace with you about he's going to do decent. I was just hoping they saw J.J. McCarthy, whatever. We'll see. The one caveat that I will give to this performance, and yes, you're the next one to talk, Jamie. So yes, you're going to have to listen to me on this one. It was against the Giants and Daniel Jones, who still hasn't seen a wide receiver in 5 days.
Okay, let me ask you this. In every single draft, didn't he go after Bryce Young? Every single draft you guys have ever been in.
Oh, yeah, he's going after it. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Continue.
Oh, yeah, he's going after it for the one thing I'm interested to see is what will happen. I'll throw it to you, Jamie, right after this. Addison healthy or not, who's going to be the main target after J-Jeff? I don't know if it's locked in. Jamie, go ahead.
So you put Darnold as your real, and you're talking about him in a positive way.
Here we go.
You put up 28 points on a horrible team. You still only had 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. So that is the real that you're going to get from Darnold every week. Expect 200 yards, expect interceptions. If it wasn't for Justin Jefferson, no. NFL wise, I think Darnold is garbage. Fantasy wise, I have no interest in starting him whatsoever.
If he finishes QB 14, would you call that a win?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the
Absolutely.
I got low bar here. Low bar.
At the end of the year, if he ends up QB 30, that's a win for Darnold.
All right, Jamie. I've heard you say some asinine stuff on this show. Saying QB 30 is a win.
For Darnold.
He'll still finish better than Daniel Jones. Reggie, who is your fake of the show?
Okay, my fake, and this might seem like a surprise because there's always overreactions every year. And if you watch the game, and this was like I watched the most of this game of any other games, the O-line for the Ravens was horrific. Mark Andrews was being blanketed. You got me, Jamie. I can't stop laughing at that last one. At the beginning of the game, you could see they was forcibly going underneath to Flowers, and Lamar Jackson was playing like his hair was on fire, and he took what was given to him. And we've seen these blow up games from Isaiah Likely repeatedly. We know he's extremely talented, but we're not taking into consideration the condition that O-line is in. And every single O-line in the NFL, they didn't play a lot of their starters. So it takes some time for them to get their cues together and know where they can rely on strengths and weaknesses. There's moving parts. They will get better. So Mark Andrews, the car accident and everything, they're not going to be able to keep that talent off the field. They run the ball a lot. So if you go out there and spend all your fab on Isaiah Likely, I'm not knocking his performance. He should have won the game, and I might feel differently. Big toe, big footed fool. But just jokingly, I don't think you're going to be able to safely play Isaiah Likely week in and week out without an injury to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is not dust by a far comparison. That's my fake.
I'm rocking with it. I definitely think that there have been people already saying, is there a new tight end one on the Ravens? I don't buy that. I agree. The line was so bad. Zay Flowers' average depth of target, I think, was like 1 yard. It was terrible. Everything was like right at the line of scrimmage. And them blanketing Mark Andrews is what led to Likely's production. I don't see that happening every week. They play the Raiders this week. Max Crosby is going to be wreaking havoc on that line again, so I can see some more check downs. But I think they're going to figure out more creative ways to get Andrews involved. I mean, he only had 2 targets. I think he caught both of them for like 19 yards. But I can see a situation where they use both of them for the rest of the year and Likely could be serviceable on some weeks. Nobody's saying he's going to, I don't think anybody believes he's going to have this type of game every week, but I think he can be serviceable with how bad the tight end position is. But Mark Andrews is still the guy until it's going to take a lot more than one game for me to believe otherwise. So yeah, I'm rocking with Likely as a fake. I'm going to spend some money to get him in some leagues, but not saying you shouldn't pick him up just to see what happens because maybe the coaching staff knows, obviously they know more than we do. Maybe they're seeing things that we don't want to see yet. But
There one thing that I will keep an eye on, if something happens to Bateman or Aguilar, or even I'll leave it at that because we're going to talk a little later. Then yes, because the utilization is going to go up. But right now, it's fool's gold, and he's extremely talented. I do like Likely, but don't misinterpret last week.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Jamie,
Yeah, no,
you
I
personally
agree.
asked me. Yeah, you personally asked me if you could talk about this, so you better make it worth it.
Yeah, no, because I was gonna make Likely one of my sells. I agree. People are overreacting. The Chiefs are historically great versus Mark Andrews. They always shut him down, so we knew that. The coaching staff came out and said Likely is going to be used more in this offense, so we knew that. People were not thinking that Likely is going to be the wide receiver 2 on the team behind Flowers. It's not Bateman. It's Likely. Andrews ran more routes than Likely. So going forward, no, Andrews is the tight end 1, but Likely is usable in the flex. You can put him in your tight end position if you need to for a bye week, but he is not the number 1 tight end on that team. It's still Mark freaking Andrews.
We had this too. I didn't even know Mark Andrews could. Mark Andrews is not Greg Kittle, George Kittle. Kittle. Like, Kittle is an excellent blocker. Mark Andrews is not necessarily, and correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, known for his blocking. So that is not going to hold up.
All right. For my real, I was not in on this guy forever. Not always. I will say it, last year I wasn't sure. Jamison Williams, Detroit Lions, 5 catches, 9 targets, 121 yards, and a touchdown. WR5 in PPR. Yes, this is for real. I am not saying he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver, even top 8 wide receiver every week. But I didn't think he was going to be that great. I thought he wasn't going to be great. So the reason I'm saying it's a real performance is he is over expectation for me. I would not doubt if he's a top 20 receiver for the season if he keeps this up. Is he going to eat into Amon-Ra? Maybe a little bit. Could he eat into Laporta? Maybe a little bit. I don't think it's going to be too much that he's going to eat into him. I think Amon-Ra just got blanketed last game, out of the game by the defense. So will Goff keep looking for Jamison? Yes. And if he keeps proving himself, I think Campbell and Ben Johnson, the OC, will throw more deep balls than they have even in the past to open it up deeper, to let the middle even open even more for Laporta, for Gibbs, and for Amon-Ra. The only concern is if they can run the ball like they did in overtime, we might not see as many passes, but I still think that Campbell is going to go out and bite some kneecaps. Who do I have written on this one? Jordan.
Yeah, I definitely think J-Mo is going to be more involved, but I think for people who are panicking on Laporta and St. Brown right now, I mean, Goff only threw the ball 28 times. They were running it down the Rams' throat. That overtime had me pissed. That somebody who is a Goff owner, and I needed him to give me a little more than the 15 he gave me. Seeing David Montgomery carry after carry after carry get 6 yards in overtime was frustrating, and then to see him punch it in to end the game, I was hoping they would stop, and then I could get a little play action and a little something to St. Brown or somebody else. But no, he only threw the ball 28 times, like I said, in a game where they controlled the clock, they controlled everything really. There are going to be different game scripts. I still think St. Brown is the guy, obviously Laporta as well. But I like the fact that they're using Williams in more than just those deep routes. He had some crossers that he was able to get loose on. So I like that as well. I like that. So, yeah, he's a real. I think he's going to be here to stay. Will he lead the team in receiving every week? No, obviously not. But I do think he's going to be a serviceable wide receiver 3 guy that you could count on in a flex.
Reggie.
I think it's real, and I hope it's here to stay. Mama, I made it. No, the thing is, the year of that class, I got J-Mo. Everybody that knows me, I had him as my wide receiver 1, and somehow they was able to unlock him, and I thought golf was the issue. But I do believe St. Brown is a dog, right? But I believe J-Mo is the alpha, and he's about to get money this year. Sam Laporta was propped up by tight ends, by tutties last year, and that offense is going to keep cooking. And if they can get them home runs out of J-Mo, St. Brown is the one that's going to nickel and dime you. But them explosives, the runs, them bombs, them electrifying, make you stand up kind of plays, it's going to come from J-Mo. And the redemption tour is here. It just only took 3 years.
All right, so it's time for my fake. And since, Jordan, you're not on this player, I need your help. I'm using you since you're not talking on this one.
Okay.
Out of the 3 wide receivers in Houston this weekend for CJ Stroud, which one had an ADOT of 15.5?
That was Tank Dell.
Who had an ADOT of 15 even?
Or, so maybe I flip it.
You flipped it, but you're good enough.
Yeah, Nico.
And then 15 was Tank Dell, right?
Yes.
Stephon Diggs' ADOT was 1.5 on a team like I brought up earlier. 74 plays. They didn't even average 66 plays last year. In the rank among wide receivers, Stephon Diggs was in the 90s for air yards. 90s. Nico was in the top 5. We're talking about, Jamie, you brought up a sentence in your argument about Mixon that I was kind of upset that you brought up, but I understand why you brought it up. And that was too many mouths to feed. I understand the argument about too many mouths to feed, but I don't think that pertains to Mixon in the sense that he's the running back. They're going to give him the fair share of running back. On pass plays, I do think there's too many mouths to feed. Stephon Diggs will be the odd man out by the end of the year. Yes, he had a great performance, but this will not keep up. It's going to be Nico and Tank. Nico proved it going up, getting the ball on those long bombs. He's going to be the main target. Even that one where Stephon got to the 1 yard line or got to the end zone, they took Nico out because he had just had the long bomb and he was out of breath. So that's my take when it comes to Stephon Diggs. Keeping it as short as I can. Stephon Diggs is a fake. Reggie, I know you like Stephon Diggs. Am I wrong?
No, I agree with that. With the low ADOT, it seems like, there's a pecking order for veterans and they were trying to keep him happy per se. I don't know what the analytics said last year about his yards per route run or what role he's going to have on this offense. As long as you keep him happy, he's going to be productive. I see him on the sidelines and his body language was extremely good. And it could just be playing to him in that role. I think I'm not going to take anything away. Didn't he catch 2 touchdowns?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he'll stay flexible. Just figuring out who's not going to be flexible. I think they all ate because they got the 74 plays, right?
Yeah,
they all were playable. Nobody hurt you, and that's what you want.
No,
running back.
They were all playable. I just don't know how it's going to be sustainable.
Right, Dalton Schultz probably isn't playable.
No, Jamie, what do you think about Diggs? Real quick.
Okay, so if you think he's going to really he's on pace for 34 touchdowns this year? If you really think he's going to get 34 touchdowns, yeah, keep him. But you're right, he is a fake. He only averaged 5.5 yards per reception. I believe without those touchdowns, he would have only got you 9 points. Would you be happy with 9 points in your lineup? No. So, Mike, you're right. He's not going to get those touchdowns every single week. I don't even think he reaches 10 touchdowns all year, and he already got 2 this week. So definitely sell on Diggs.
All right. So it is time. We are out. We are done with real and fake. We're at the 54-minute mark. We're going to keep on pushing this one. Jamie, it is host comment or host topic of the night for you. for the rest of the year, you're doing buy and sell player of the week. Who are they?
Okay, so my biggest buy right now is Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm wearing his jersey right now. Obviously, Ohio State guy, could be a little bit biased, but I think his bad game was due to like Murray's limited passing. I believe he only had like 160 yards. Some managers may have concerns about that Cardinals offense right now. However, Murray didn't play in the preseason, and Harrison saw slight usage in the preseason. So I'm chalking this up as first game. He's going to be a beast. We all know his talent. It's unlikely that anyone who spent a second round is just going to give him away, but you can find those managers out there that are panicking. Fantasy managers can be unpredictable at times. So go out and try to get Marvin Harrison Jr. What would you guys be willing to give up for Harrison?
Reggie, why don't you answer that question? What would you be willing to give up?
I would want to see it. I'm more so. I woke up to hey, are you looking to trade Neighbors? No. I'm more interested in Neighbors than Marvin Harrison Jr. because the fit worries me. Kyler scrambles. There were some open plays that he had, and I'm not sure Kyler is the right quarterback for Marvin Harrison, and he's still a rookie. So I'm not actually going out trying to acquire Marvin right now. I won't give the owner of him what he wants. I'm not wasting my time. I play in too many leagues.
Jordan?
Yeah, I like Marvin a lot, but the Kyler fit is worrying me. The couple of times he was like wide open, begging for the ball essentially, and like Kyler just didn't see. He just took off running. They talked about Jaden Daniels kind of saying, "Oh, my first read's not there. I'm taking off." It seems like sometimes that's what Kyler's doing. He sometimes is running too fast instead of letting the play develop, and that's not. I don't think that's conducive to tomorrow right now. I'm not giving up on him, but I'm definitely kind of worried. Him being a rookie and all. In Dynasty, yeah, I'd be going after him, but for redraft purposes, it's a good time to get him because I know somebody is disappointed in him. But I'm if you already started off shaky, I don't know if you want to have to wait on another guy to get it together. If you got Drake, like in a couple of my leagues, I got like Drake London, Terry McLaurin, guys who are already struggling that I got to figure it out with. I don't know if I want to have another guy doing that as well while the losses pile up for me. Yeah. So I think it just depends on the construction of your team.
Kyler Murray's only had 1,000-yard receiver his whole career, and it was Hopkins in his prime.
Hopkins. All right, Jamie, before you give this buy or this sell, I was disappointed in you. You can't get any more creative?
No. You ready for this one? All right,
everybody knows who it's going to be.
This was a huge surprise for me.
I'm sure it is, but for everyone listening out there, will the real Kyren Williams please sit your ass down? 2.8 yards per carry. Oh, come on now. 1.3 yards per catch. Yeah, he saved his week with the touchdown. He ended up as 21 on the week.
Jamie, real quick, Jamie. Hey, boss, you showed up just to hear Jamie talk more crud about freaking Kyren Williams. Perfect timing. Continue.
All right, so I had him ranked going into the year at RB17. We finished this week RB21, so a little bit worse. But I've been saying it all offseason. I'm selling Kyren. He has low draft capital. The Rams' questionable offensive line and the arrival of Blake Corum, who didn't even play in this game, and Kyren was still horrible. So those are the three main concerns I had, but I don't think Kyren's completely gonna flop. But I don't see him living up to his ADP. Like, people are drafting him RB8, 17th overall. Personally, I'd rather have a guy like James Cook. I would trade Kyren for Josh Jacobs. I would trade him for Derrick Henry. And all those people had lower ADPs than him. So even for wide receivers, I would go after Olave, who didn't have a good game, or Drake London, who didn't have a good game. Maybe you could get a Cooper Kupp for Kyron. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I'm off Kyron. Are you guys surprised?
Okay. No, we're not surprised. But you need to answer this question that's on the screen right now. That's all we're asking you to do.
Yeah, stick around because I got something.
Don't stick
Hey,
around. Don't
Mike,
stick around.
What does that have anything to do? Wait, you're going to talk about Roshan later too? Oh my God, we're in trouble. If he's talking about Roshan later.
So at every turn, we've heard a diss about Kyron and propping up Blake Corum, who was behind Ronnie Rivers. And I don't know how long that's going to last. But, Kyron is the guy right now, Jamie. He still has a lot of value.
He's a guy.
He is a guy, that's for sure. But he's a guy in a good offense that likes to use the running backs and particularly stays using one running back. So, I think, if you don't like him and you can see where it's heading, then I get selling him. I don't know how much you're going to get after this bad game because, some people overreact. But I would wait till, he has a good game coming soon. And then because they're playing Arizona, I believe, this week. So, yeah, if he has a good game against Arizona, he could look to sell. But I don't think he's going to be losing the job anytime soon.
All right. So, Jamie, will you do me a big favor? Instead of making bad fantasy football takes, will you do something worthwhile?
So you're saying drafting Kyron at overall 17th, RB8, with him finishing
Jamie,
outside the top
just
20.
press it. Jamie, just do your job. You know the job. Today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry-leading best ball leagues when that's going on. But right now, it's all about the huge tournaments and private leagues, and more importantly, pick'ems, hires, and lowers. Sign up with our promo code GF2 and get up to $250 in bonus cash. Make sure you go and get your hires and lowers because you know what? Even if you can't bet on sports, betting on Underdog with overs and unders is amazing. It helps even the games you don't want to watch. It gets you to watch them even more. All right. So, Jordan, the randomness of the week. I knew this was coming. Go ahead, sir.
It's just a simple message that I wish people would, GMs, coaches, they would just listen to. Play in the goddamn preseason, man. Like, whether it's one quarter, a few drives, whatever the case may be, you have to get out there. I'm looking at Joe Burrow was looking miserable, like his dog died on the bench. You could have played in the preseason, buddy. Kirk Cousins, they said he was healthy. He gets out there, stinks up the joint. If you were healthy, buddy, you should have played. Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Definitely should sell Allen Lazard if he's even owned. That's for sure. Anybody who has Allen Lazard, go ship him off to anybody who's willing to chase those touchdowns. One of which he caught from Tyrod Taylor. Crazy. But back to just playing the preseason, a lot of the problems that a lot of these teams had, a lot of the reasons why this was like one of the best weeks for kickers in NFL history, fantasy-wise, was because all the offense struggled because majority of the players didn't play. It was just a sloppy week. And, you anticipate that in a week one of a season. But, man, I'm just tired of us struggling as fantasy managers because these teams refuse to play their players in the preseason, albeit for a couple of drives. So do better so we can be better as fantasy managers. We could be happier about our week one results.
All right, Reggie, real quick, what do you think about what he said? And then we'll go to yours after I make a comment.
I think he nailed it. Jordan always talks with such elegance and always says what needs to be said. I agree with him 100%.
All right, I got one problem.
That's cool, man.
You calling him elegant is crazy. All right, let's get straight to it. Jeff, I am putting your comment up on the board real quick. Jeff says he needs to update it. That is one. It's now up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So go out there and bet. And while you're looking at hires and lowers, Reggie is going to give you something that you need to pay attention to. Reggie, take it away.
Here we go, fellas.
The Underdogs over-unders brought to you by Going For 2.
I put that together earlier today, right after I got home, and I've been trying to get y'all some picks. Behind me, you'll see our sponsor, Underdog. Make sure you get that $1,000. It's out there for you. Go get it. But it's a challenge to kind of give you guys something that's relevant. So I'm going to try to stick to the Thursday games and go a little further because the lines are going to change. So go get it now. What are you waiting for? I like the over on receiving for James Cooks this week against the Miami Dolphins. Their pass rush is better than I expected, and I can see James Cook getting over 18.5 yards. Earlier today, the reason why I say go get this now is I like the under of Kenyon Coleman Bills versus the Dolphins this Thursday at 3.5, meaning he would have to get 4 points to beat me. What else I've seen, and it's ever so moving, and I want to keep you guys closer, but that's two right there that if I had something in my account, I know you can see in that corner, I would be betting those right now. So go do it. Go put that promo code and get that bonus.
All right. So, Jamie, I know you look at what do you think about James Cook this week on Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, James Cook, that's what he thrives in is the passing game. So if it's only at 18.5, definitely take that over. It's going to be a competitive game. Bills could even be playing from behind. So they're going to need to utilize James Cook in that passing game. So click that over.
Jordan, real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely click the over on James Cook. The Dolphins pass rush getting to Allen. I think he'll dump it off a couple times, and that's all you need.
All right. You guys, actually, Reggie doesn't know. Boys, do you know what time it is?
Yes.
Yes.
Set me up, Jordan.
It's been a long time. I've missed it. We've all missed it. It's week one brings a lot of heartache, brings a lot of foolishness from the coaches, from the players. So let's see what Mike's talking about this week in his rant of the week. Take it away, Mike.
All right. Jamie, there must be something in the water in that damn state that you live in, sir. Because my rant of the week is pointed at two teams, and they both from the state of O-H. I suck. And that is Ohio. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns both suck. When you lose your home opener against Jacoby freaking Brissett and the New England Patriots, I don't care if it's Rob Mayo's first game or not. I don't care. Your best receiver is Pop Douglas. Your best receiver is Jamar Chase, and you can't do diddly squat. You're showing that you're missing Joe Mixon, and Joe Mixon's not just another guy. Yes, I thought Zach Moss could be something, but Zach Moss can't do diddly squat if your team cannot get ahead because then you're throwing the ball the whole game. They've lost 3 straight opening games. And unfortunately, last year, they lost to the Cleveland Browns on opening week. The craziest part about them in the last 3 week ones, Jordan, can you tell me the total points they have scored in the first half of those 3 games total?
I'm going to go with 3.
What if I told you you're 3 too many?
0.
They've scored 0 points for the first half of those 4 games, of the 3 games, last 3. Absolutely atrocious. Do I think they can turn it around? Yes. But they play the Chiefs this week. So, no, I don't want them to turn it around in week 2. But if they don't turn it around fast, if they don't do something in the first month, last year they started the season 1-3 and turned it around a little bit. I don't think they're going to be able to do that this year. They're not going to be able to turn it around again. They're not going to be able – Baltimore, Pittsburgh won. Pittsburgh's decent. Oh, wait. I only said 2 teams are decent. Because the Browns showed they're inept. The Browns lost to freaking Dak Prescott, and the freaking Cowboys didn't do diddly squat. I'm upset because I started Deshaun Watson in too many leagues. And that was one league, Jamie. And that's one too many. I started him in one league. I started him in too many. Okay? Jerome Ford, the only reason Jerome Ford did okay on my freaking teams is because he scored at the end of the game in garbage time. That's not even garbage time. That should have been called sewer time. It was so bad. Okay? You made I can't even think of his name right now. Your old coach, Jordan. Green Bay's old coach. Cowboys. Why can't I think of his name?
Mike McCarthy.
He made Mike McCarthy look like a genius. He made Mike Zimmer look like the defensive coordinator from 20 years ago. Is that defense for real? Yes. Did Zimmer need to come in? I think Zimmer is probably going to do really good with those guys. Cleveland doesn't look like they're going to win 6 games this year, and that scares me because I do have too many shares of players on that team. You brought up Njoku, not trying to, but that sucks for that team. You got Amari Cooper, you got Jerry Jeudy. Your Elijah Moore is pretty much dust, and I hate saying that because me and you were both in on him, Jamie.
Nope.
So I'm just going to throw it straight to you because it's your state. You're sitting in that state right now. Is it that bad?
Yeah, no, I was surprised on the Cincinnati game. Did not expect that. I thought that was the only lock win of the week was Cincinnati beating the Patriots. And I don't know what happened. I watched the game and it just didn't make any sense. It didn't look like a Cincinnati team that should be a playoff team at all. With the Browns, we kind of expected this from the Browns. You really thought the Browns were – I told you last week the Browns were going to lose to Dallas.
Yes, but I didn't
know they were going to lose this bad. I didn't know they were going to lose this bad. So takeaways from that is Deshaun Watson is trash. He looked horrible. They need to get him off that field. He's not a locker room guy. No one likes him. I think the fact that they actually kept him in when they're being blown out just blows my mind, but it makes sense because the coaching staff was looking for just one little snippet to kind of build off of for going forward, but it never came.
All right.
It never came. So I think Watson himself needs to pretend to be hurt or actually get hurt. I don't know. I think he's just waiting for this big hit so he can complain about soreness in his shoulder again. Then once Winston comes in, maybe the Browns could actually win some damn games.
All right. Okay. You got enough airtime on that one. Jordan and Reggie, who wants to take this? I have a question for you.
You go ahead, Reg.
All right. Reggie, he's sitting in there and telling us that he knew the Browns were going to suck. He never told me they were going to stink worse than Bishop Sycamore.
Wait, who's Bishop Sycamore?
That fake school in Ohio. They play football.
Wait, I was like, huh? I ducked that one. But yeah,
So
no,
what do you think
I don't
about
know how.
this?
I don't know how they neutralized that defensive end. Oh my! I can't even think of his name.
Parsons.
But
Micah Parsons?
no, not Michael Parsons on Cleveland side. He was just
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett was just neutralized all game. They did a great job of chipping him. That's what worries me the most. It just didn't seem like he was very effective, and he can change the game. So we'll see. And just Watson, his body language looked bad, real bad.
All right. So before we get into waiver wire, Kyle, 42%. What's even crazier about that number? Circa in Vegas does a giant, I forget how much money it is, but they do a giant survivor pool. 31% of their survivor pool is gone. 31% picked the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's just crazy. All right. It's already at the hour and 13-minute mark. We're getting through this show. It's late night where Jordan is. It's late night where Jamie is. For me and Reggie, it's still early. All right, we are doing waiver wire. It's the cheat of the week, which means it's waiver wire edition time. Jamie, who was your waiver wire? Oh wait, I already know who it is, and I'm already appalled. Why don't you announce it?
Because Mike was surprised on this. I even had to send him my take just so even
Yeah,
kind of
he
makes
literally
sense.
sent me a paragraph on why he picked this player.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Jeff because this was his favorite player last year in draft season. But it's Alexander Madison. I know it sounds gross. He only had 5 carries, 19 yards. No one wants that. 3.8 yards per carry. That's what he usually averages anyway. But he had those 6 targets. He caught 4 of them, 48 yards, and that touchdown. So the reason that happened was because they were playing from behind, and plus Lob wasn't active that game. Zamir White isn't a pass catching running back, so that's why they were funneling passes to him. Just pick him up this week. You could possibly play them if you're in dire need because they do play the Ravens. So again, they're going to be playing from behind. If he shows some points this week, after week 2, that's when you want to sell him for pennies because the next 4 matchups, they play Panthers, Browns, Broncos, Steelers. I don't see them playing from behind first those teams. And then week 7 through 10, they have more tough matchups, but Dylan Lobb could be back at that time. So that's who I'm going to be looking at, not Alexander Madison. So pick him up just as a stash, and then maybe you could sell him for something.
Jordan.
Oh, and I put a waiver in. I'm dropping Roshan Johnson for Alexander Madison this week.
Wow.
Hold
Big
on.
league too. A big, huge
Hold
league. Like Battle of the Brands where I'm repping going for 2. So let's hope that works out for me.
Are you going to work tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because I think you have a fever.
Yeah. So
Jordan, what do you think about Alexander Madison?
I guess if he's giving Madison some props, there is hope for Kyron at some point, huh?
Yep.
Maybe.
There's hope.
Maybe, at the right price, I guess. But yeah, I think in addition to Zamir Wright not being a pass catching back, he just didn't look that great over the weekend. So I could see Madison maintaining that role. They will be playing from behind because their offense was atrocious. And so yeah, he's gonna have value catching the ball out the backfield on this team until Lob gets back, and then it's gonna be messy. After that, you won't know. Then not necessarily Lob will take it right away. It may take some time because he is a rookie, but having 3 guys there is going to be a mess.
All right, before you give yours, Jordan, Kyle, I love you. Without a doubt, Jamie dropping Roshan for Madison is the most wild thing he has ever said.
Yes.
Ever.
Trust the process.
But I can't blame him. I'm still shocked that I'm shocked you even said that as a joke, let alone seriousness, and actually did it in the league. Mm-hmm. So, Jordan, we talked about, let me make sure that I'm right on this. Yes, I am right. We talked about a major injury with Puka. Who would you pick? Would it be someone on a different team or would it be someone on the Rams?
I would go with Demarcus Robinson. I mean, obviously, during draft season, he was like a late sleeper for a lot of people. He had showed promise at the end of last season as the unquestioned 3rd guy on that team. Had some productive weeks. Going now with Puka kind of gone. I know Tyler Johnson got some run. Most of his production came on like a long pass where he broke a few tackles. Obviously, that's not something that you can expect every week. I like Robinson. He's got the chemistry with Stafford. They've played together for a while. I like him to just kind of slot in with more targets. He got 7 targets Sunday night, which is a good number. He didn't do much with, I think it was like 40 yards he had. But a new week against a weaker defense, a weaker secondary, I can see him being serviceable. I mean, a lot of the guys on waivers won't be league winners, especially in week 1. But I think if you need somebody who you can slot in as a flex, I think Demarcus Robinson could fit that bill for you for the next few weeks.
Reggie, what do you think about Demarcus Robinson?
I agree with it. I think everybody's going to rush out and grab the young man, Tyler Johnson. And then once he went off, he passed the eye test. It looked good. It was a spark that they weren't guarding him. Okay. I'm just kidding. But he made a couple of good moves, but I think he's going to turn out to be the Kevin Ogletree from Dallas several years back when he blew up week 1 and did nothing for the rest of the year. And Demarcus Robinson will be the person to have. I think if you're going after full goal, if you go after Tyler Johnston, if you want to throw money away, go for Tutu Atwell. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right. So on Thursday night, Derrick Henry didn't perform super well. I think that was game script. However, speaking of game script, Reggie, I was gonna pick this guy. So go ahead, sir.
I own him. He's 21% owned and across all my 39 leagues. I don't understand the hate for him, how late he was going in dynasty drafts this upcoming season. 6 of 8 targets, 52 yards receiving. Just Justin Hill. You guys seen Henry. Henry's going to take a while behind that offensive line, but Henry is winning with physicality. And we've seen older backs like Adrian Peterson do this in the past. But what I did not see is a lot of lateral movement, but not that it has been a strength of Henry's. And I'm not saying he's on decline, but Justin Hill serves a role and a purpose on his team. And you see him time and time again during that game. One of the games I watched the most of, like emphatically, that he was useful. And if you're going to catch 6 catches, you can get in my lineup. If you're going to catch 6 catches for 52 yards, I just need you to get that tutty, baby.
Yeah, Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love Justice Hill. He was on my starting roster, winning a championship last year in Dynasty, just because I had no one else, but he's put up like over 20-some points that week. They are going to pass the ball, like we talked about, likely being the second wide receiver on the team. I mean, Justice Hill could be the third wide receiver on the team. So I could definitely see useful weeks. And if you're in a pinch, throw him in. And as long as Keaton Mitchell is going to be sidelined, I think Justice Hill definitely has a role in that offense.
Absolutely. Like I said, I was going to bring him. He was one of the ones I really wanted to bring up. But when I saw him on the sheet, I said, as long as someone's bringing him up, I am good with it. All right. So my guy, I just want to make sure I have his stats right. Both of you and Jamie and Jordan know with the leagues I'm in, sometimes I like to go a little bit deeper with mine because I have to in leagues. 6 receptions on 8 targets, 47 yards, no touchdowns, but I think the touchdown is coming. Another guy vultured a touchdown. One of Jamie's guys vultured the touchdown. And that's Greg Dortch. And in the same vein that Reggie brought up earlier tonight, that he is afraid that Marvin Harrison might not be the type of wide receiver, or that Kyler Murray might not be the type of quarterback for Marvin Harrison Jr. I think it's the exact opposite for Greg Dortch, because Greg Dortch, to me, is a perfect guy for what's the word I'm looking for? Crazy plays. You know, when Kyler's running around, you need someone to come back to the ball. You need someone to run that 9 and then come back 5 yards to get the ball. I think Greg Dortch is still good, and he's already got a rapport with him. I think Greg Dortch is an intriguing ad. Maybe not start him right away, but you probably will need to start him at some point, especially when you get to my favorite rant of the year, Apocalypse. And I just think that Dortch could be, especially in leagues like some of the ones that I'm in where it's 3 wide receiver and 2 flex, he could be one of those flex plays. Jordan, what do you think about Greg Dortch? And then we will answer this question.
Yeah, I agree, man. I was hoping that, Michael Wilson would kind of step up as that second receiver, but he scored a touchdown, but he didn't do much after that. And Dortch has been somebody who Kyler has been looking for. I thought Dortch would start off the season as like the 4th receiver behind Zay Jones, but then, Zay got suspended. So then that thrusted him into the role, and he's made the most of it, man. He isn't going anywhere. I definitely think it's somebody that Kyler trusts. So we should try and trust him in deeper leagues in our lineup.
Absolutely. All right. You guys ready to answer this fantasy question before we get out of here?
Yes, sir.
I think Marvin Harrison will learn that ability. He don't have it yet in his back.
No, but it also drove me nuts. I didn't say it because Jordan brought it up. But when Jordan brought up the fact that especially that one play where Marvin is literally waving like, hey, I am open. And you don't, I mean, is he short enough that he can't see over the tight end or even over the running back? Who knows?
All right. I made fun of Bryce Young, but Kyler is not much taller, if at all, than Bryce. So
You should be
All
looking
right,
for him, though,
so-
shouldn't he? You should be looking
Yeah.
for him.
All right, so Souths go 650. I'm going to read out the question. We'll go around the horn. We'll just go Jamie, Jordan, Reggie. Down CMC, who am I picking up off of waivers? Bucky Irving, Tank Bigsby. I still can't believe we're bringing in Tank Bigsby, but you have to. Justice Hill or Marshawn Lloyd? Jamie?
Yeah, this is easy for me. I mean, just like Reggie was saying, Justice Hill, he has standalone value. And then let's say something does happen to Henry, he could get some more run in the backfield. With Rasheen Ali, he is inactive. So yeah, go Justice Hill.
Jordan, is it Marshawn Lloyd?
hell no, it's definitely Justice Hill. I assume Jordan Mason isn't available because he should definitely be the number one option. But yeah, out of these guys, Justice Hill for sure.
Reggie,
And
are you doubling down?
if you whiff on Justin Hill, put a second waiver claim for less money for Bucky.
Or Alexander Madison.
I don't hate Tank. I didn't see the game, but I heard a lot today about people being worried for ETN.
Yeah, because
But-
Tank looked better than ETN. So
Yeah.
He fumbled the ball at the half-yard line into the end zone.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I just heard. I was like, what are they talking about?
All right, so I'm just going to say I agree with everyone. And an all-in joking, but not joking because the weirdo that's buying on the next to me. If Kyron Williams is on your waiver wire, pick him up. It was a great week. It was a great show. Yeah, Jordan, were you going to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, man, it's a bummer to have to go from CFC to one of these guys off waivers.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's a complete bummer. At least in one league, I had Jordan Mason already in my lineup, like in my roster, so I was able to pick him up.
Is it confirmed he's not playing?
They're saying it's unlikely that he plays week 2. It's tendonitis in his Achilles. I'm scared that it's going to go up and down all.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be something we
I
got.
was born with a bad Achilles. I've had 2 surgeries on it and never ruptured it. But when I've had my surgeries, they've cut it in half and ruptured it on purpose. I know the pain. No, thank you.
Can we get 8 carries? That's all we need for CMC. Give him 8 carries. 2 catches.
8 carries and 80 yards. All right, it's been a great show. Let's throw it around for outros. And if you want to say anything, this is the time to do it. Reggie, you're first.
Thank you, Suppress Stormy, for throwing the raid over from Twitch. Shout out to Gorford, too. Thank you, Jeff, again, for the opportunity. You guys are amazing. I'm glad to be back. I'm a week away from vacation.
Let's go, Jordan.
Yeah, man, it was fun talking week 1. Looking forward to this weekend of football. Everybody stay safe out there. Anybody who's going to be affected by this hurricane coming, y'all get shelter, get whatever you need. And yeah, I'll be talking to you guys next week.
Prog.
Yeah, it was fun week 1. Looking forward to next week and every week after. Just don't forget, don't overreact. It's good to react, but don't overreact, especially with these tight ends.
You guys know where to find me. You know where to find me on Tuesdays. Other than that, it's been a great show. It's been a great week of football. We're all looking forward to week 2. First game of the week is Thursday night. It is Miami against Buffalo. We will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a nice night, everyone. For Reggie, for Jordan, for Jamie, I'm Mike. Have a good night and